And thanks for staying with us. I'm here with Sam Hardiman from the Daily Memphian and Otis Sanford, ABC24 political analyst. Well, gentlemen, another major story that emerged this past week, Memphis in May announcing the Beale Street Music Festival won't happen in May of 2024. Organizers cited more than $6 million in losses the past 2 years and rising costs as reasons for putting the event on pause. The World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest is also scheduled to move from Tomley Park to Liberty Park in Midtown next year. However, some breaking news this Friday afternoon when we normally tape this program. We're just learning that Mempho Fest organizers, the event out more in East Memphis that is held, it's about 6 years in East Memphis. They're planning to host a separate event in May at Tomley Park to replicate, at bare minimum, potentially, the Beale Street Music Festival. Otis, this is like just breaking when we're taping today. What's your initial reaction to this?
Well, I'm really surprised, and I'm trying to figure out what the mechanism was for this to happen. That the people who are in charge of managing Tomley Park, and I'm talking about the River Parks partnership, have they been working on this for a while? Was there also some advanced knowledge that the Beale Street Music Festival would not happen, and so they went out and got something for May? A lot of questions need to be answered about this. I'm just surprised at this development. It seems like to me there's some jockeying back and forth and maybe some competitiveness going on here with that Mempho Fest and Memphis in May.
What's your initial takeaway, Sam? I know this news is pretty fresh.
Yeah, it's obviously pretty fresh. I mean, I guess to Otis, I'm sorry, I'm on the other side of this, man. I'm not that surprised. Like it didn't seem to be that you know, and I'm quoting my colleague Chris Harrington, paraphrasing him here at the Daily Memphian, but you know, Beale Street Music Fest has kind of been foundering for a little while in terms of as an event. The acts weren't that great. It wasn't really pulling people in, right? And now, you know, they've obviously been at loggerheads with the River Parks Partnership for however how long, you know, a decade it seems. And that issue, right? Like this was kind of always going to be end of divorce, it seemed like, and now the River Parks Partnership has a suitor at the table. And look, all you need to do is be able to book acts and put them in the park. There's nothing, you know, there's no real barrier to entry to the music business, right? If you get access to the venue. So this kind of makes some sense.
And as we don't know, this so new, we don't know the scope, the size of this. Will this be a scaled down compared to Beale Street Music Festival? But I mean, is this a sign that a festival can exist in that park potentially for years to come? I guess we'll see. But
if it is scaled down, it probably can. There's still a lot of space out there. I agree with Sam on this point that the Beale Street Music Festival had been kind of floundering over the last few years. Of course, COVID had a lot to do with some of that. But you know, people in Memphis were just not all that excited that I saw about the acts and about doing this. The barbecue contest has a lot more interest locally than the music festival does, and so I'm not surprised by that. But yeah, I think that something can happen at Tomley Park if it's scaled down and if it doesn't cause a lot of other problems in terms of damage to the renovated park. That'll be fine.
And Sam, it's just, as you mentioned, just a lot of finger pointing in recent years. I mean, like you were saying, kind of potentially inevitable, or maybe it's worth giving another organizer a chance to host this music festival?
I mean, you know, that's not my call as to what happens in a public space, right? But I think you definitely have to wonder, you know, how did the Memphis in May business model work with Tomley, with not just the new Tomley Park, but also as a nonprofit putting on this barbecue festival, doing, you know, the hundreds of thousands of dollars in education that they do every year, and then the Beale Street Music Festival. I mean, they're tough businesses. Like, this is a tough thing, and to do it as a nonprofit and to do it sustainably, it's pretty difficult regardless of the sort of interpersonal stuff that was going on between the two entities. And so, yeah, I think we're seeing, to Otis's point about it being scaled down, I certainly think, you know, I was out there yesterday, you know, our office is right there, the Daily Memphian's offices. You can certainly have a concert and people can drink some beers and listen to music in the place. I don't think it's ruined for that.
Right. It's not completely a forest. I mean, there's still open green space areas. But Otis, I mean, there's a lot of significance, though. Kevin Kane from Memphis Tourism, very concerned when this Beale Street news came out Thursday. Yeah. How important is it for hotels? Just Memphis's kind of soul as a musical city to have some kind of festival. It's been, since 1977 we've had
Since
this event.
1977, and it is very important. Memphis is a music town, and we make a lot of our revenue as a result of that. So I'm sure that Kevin Kane is having some heartaches, and some other people are too. So yeah, okay, let's have something down on the river in May. It's not certain that Beale Street Music Festival, which won't be called Beale Street probably, will come back at some point. But as far as the barbecue cooking contest, having it at Tiger Lane, I think is what we're talking about, that's fine. Now, going to our earlier segment, if they're doing some construction on the stadium, will that interfere with any of this? There's a lot of things to have to work out here, but Tiger Lane is a good spot for the barbecue contest.
And I know we're not city planners, but maybe it's an opportunity to think outside the box. Are there other parts down Riverside Drive you could put venues? I mean, I think hopefully there's some,
Mud Island.
Mud Island.
Mud Island.
That could work.
Mud Island.
That could work. All right. Well, that's all the time we have for that segment. After the break, we'll break down the state of the two races in two key contests in Mississippi and Tennessee. You're watching ABC24 This Week. Stay with us.